everybody, welcome to the Realest Podcast. Today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about video games, video game consoles. We're going to be debating a list from IGN and through Wikipedia about the most popular games and what we think and what the most popular consoles are and what we think about those. Just talking about really video games, and we're kind of with some professionals here. Maddie, she's here. You might remember her. She did the anime podcast. And then Chayton, he's probably I would almost say like our video game connoisseur here. Like, especially handheld games, he always brings the new awesome handheld mobile phone games in that I have never played before that are always fun. So why don't we just start off with a very simple topic. What's your favorite video game console that you played and why? Maddie, why don't you start?
My favorite so far is the PlayStation 3. It's like the only system we've ever had, but it works well. I'm used to it, and graphics are good and things like that. So, I don't know, it's just my favorite.
PlayStation 3. Jaden?
I'm a fan of the Xbox 360.
360? I'm old, because my favorite is Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
It's not, the graphics weren't...
Super Nintendo Entertainment System, right?
Yes, and so my favorite game was Super Mario, Mortal Kombat, and then the original Madden games that were on there were awesome as well. Like, football games, I loved them, but I think my new favorite console would probably be... Honestly, I have a PlayStation 4 now, but I traded in my 360 for it, and I actually kind of regret that. Like, my 360 I like better than my PlayStation 4, which is weird. I don't know why. I just don't feel like the PlayStation 4 is as cool as what the other ones were.
Well, I think sometimes when older game systems, people get used to them and people just really like them, or just they're what people need and not always what people want. And then like the newer systems are a lot of what people want and sometimes don't work as well. And I don't know.
So what's more important, do you think? Is it the system or the games on the system?
That's a tough one.
I feel like it's a little bit of both, because if you have a poor system with a bunch of games on it, you may have the selection of games, but you don't have the right. It may not be the best to play it. But if you have a good system that doesn't have that many games on it, what's the point?
See, I think that's my problem with PlayStation 4 right now, is I don't feel like there's games on there that I'm really excited about. When I had 360, I mean, they had tons of games, obviously, from all the years they were around, but my favorite game to play outside of sports games was Gears of War, and that was only for Xbox 360, but I absolutely love that series, and so...
it's a good series.
Love that, but I just don't have a game like that. I remember, I would take off work for the release date of Gears of War. Like, me and my friend, we would take off work, like, we'd order a bunch of pizza, and we would just Gears of War, like, for the entire first day that it came out. And now I don't have a game like that on PlayStation where I'm like, oh man, this is the one. I think the closest game that I played on PlayStation 4 right now that I was really, really impressed with was probably Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think that was probably my favorite, and that's my least favorite Assassin's Creed game. So that just tells you how much I love PlayStation 4. Is I've struggled with finding stuff that I'm really in love with it. What's your guys' what's the oldest game system you guys have played? Because both of you guys are rather young, so I'm curious.
The oldest one I've played on, my dad actually had it, and I'm not sure exactly what one it was, but I do remember the controller has like 3 points that come out, and it's white. I think it was like an Xbox one, but it's really old.
I'm not sure which one. I'm trying to think of. Was the graphics in like 3D? Can you remember any of the games that you played on it?
No. I think it was like a Nintendo kind of, but the controller.
I wonder if it was Atari. Did it have like a joystick?
It was like a regular controller, but the sides would come out all the way instead of how they are now.
Oh, you know,
and then there was one in the center that came out.
That's a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it was that one. We actually still have it in a box in our garage. We were cleaning out.
All right, Shane, what's the oldest system you think you played?
An NES.
NES? All right, so you played the original. I think the oldest... I've played Atari before. I've played Pong, and I'm not that... I only got to play it because I had a cousin whose mom had it. And I'll say this, we've come a long way because that was so boring. Like, beak,
what?
Beak.
Bink.
Like you're just basically playing tennis.
Or like the ball.
You have,
Okay,
the
yeah,
two-
now I know what
You're basically
game
playing
type it is.
tennis on a video game system, and it's black and white.
It's black and white, and
The-
it makes one noise.
The newer versions of Pong they're pretty fun because it can speed up.
It's a lot better.
Right, it speeds up, and then there's like more than one ball and things like that.
Here's something that's interesting to me because when I was growing up, way before my time too, my parents talked about it a lot. Arcades, like people loved to go to arcades.
We actually still have an arcade in Boise.
We have a few. We have a few, but I don't feel like they're as popular as they used to be. Why do you guys think arcade games don't really resonate with teens now?
Home
'cause
entertainment system.
Yeah.
Like, why get up and go and pay money for to play a old game when you could get on your home console on your TV and play your games?
So why leave when you can do it at home?
Yeah.
Right.
What about cell phones? Do you think cell phones have done something to arcades as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, download any app, and they have a lot of apps that are close to the arcade games, so you can play them on your phone.
Makes sense.
So, like the ping game, they have a bunch of apps like that are free to download on your phone.
Okay.
I have like 4 of them on my phone right now.
I just downloaded a game that I'm addicted to on my phone, and I'm not big on phone games, but it's... Let me pull it up here. It's called The Hardest Game Ever 2.
Oh!
And...
Oh, yes.
It's Hardest Game Ever 2. It's this, and it's just like these brain reflex teaser things. And for everybody, you can't see. I'm pulling it up right now for them to see. It's just like the most ridiculous little games of all time. We'll start with this one. You have to tickle a foot with a feather, but the foot goes back and forth and does its own little thing. So it's called Stop Tickling Me. Play. You have 3 little feathers, and everywhere the foot is, you have to just tap. And then you have to just keep going.
What?
It's the most ridiculous.
So it's in
silly
different
game.
rows, and then the foot jumps from different row, and you have to click on that.
Yeah, and then if you have to
feather.
get a certain grade, and then if you get an S, then you passed the highest. I don't know how S beats A, but and then it gets really hard though. The further and further you go, and this one's a great brain teaser here. You have these 2 wheels that spin together, and as we're sitting here playing
next to each other, and they line up.
yeah, so blue 3 times. So I have to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, I did that one wrong right there. So, but they mess with you because the red and the blue, you're thinking not blue. So now it's not blue. So I have to go 1, 2, and then blue 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have to keep going. But the thing is, you have to do this really, really fast because I'm not going to even come close to a score here that would get me a pass here. And I've been stuck on some of these levels forever. Silliest thing in the world, but. I don't know. It's
The game I'm addicted to right now it's called Last Year Not, and it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just you tap one side of your screen to jump and you tap another to shoot, and you just have to jump over landmines. There's floating packages that you can collect to
Jump over
that's cool.
fire and.
Yeah, so that reminds me more of an old Super Nintendo game. It's kind of set up the same way, and you can do that on your phone now, which is crazy because in the past you had to buy a actual console. Let me ask you guys. I'm excited to kind of get 2 perspectives on this because there's a huge difference I think in the way boys game, at least in perception, and the way girls game. So I'm gonna ask you guys about bloody violent games. Okay, so we'll start with Maddie. Maddie, what's your opinion on bloody violent games, and what's the bloodiest, most violent game you've ever played?
It would have to be. I actually can't remember exactly what it's called, and I want to say Insidious, but I don't think that's right. And there's a series of them, and they're really popular with a certain amount of people. But it's a zombie game kind of, but it's where people are being tested. So a company made the zombie people or whatever, and they're testing people that have the virus in them to see if they'll change or survive, and it's really gruesome, and I just love it.
So what's your opinion on do you like violent bloody games?
If you're into things exploding and blood and things falling apart and all that, then yeah, I'm pretty sure you would, but I think it just depends on the personality, not if boy girl, but most girls aren't into that. Most guys are, but I'm into that. So.
Okay. Shane, what's the bloodiest, most violent game you've ever played?
So I'm not really into bloody violent games, but one of the more gruesome ones that I've played that I just recently got is The Evil Within.
Evil Within?
And
That one's
it's
good.
like it's I don't want to spoil too much of the game, but
there's spoilers already, so
yeah.
go ahead.
So what you are an undercover. You're not undercover, but you're a detective. And you get called into this old, weird, creepy mental hospital. And when you walk in, there's dead bodies and blood smeared all over the walls. And when you walk into the security room, you both your friends get picked up and threw through the roof.
Right, and on
then-
the video you see something that's like almost teleporting and killing everybody, like unearth-like is happening in the video, and you're like, what's going on?
And then it teleports behind you, and when you turn around, it's just this like robe basically with like a guy with a dark robe with the hood pulled all the way over his face, and he looks up at you and he screams, and you go flying into who knows where. And there's like it's like a giant series of tests
like
and chambers,
zombies and ghosts and mutation things. Like, I mean, there was one guy who was like oversized and had a safe for a head and was carrying like a chainsaw or something trying to kill you.
No, what
yeah,
happened was there was a safe around his head and it was chained, and you actually thought it was something good when you unlocked it. He took the safe off and tried to kill you, and then I think you got the chainsaw from it's one of the earlier parts of the game where you're playing and you're being chased by a maniac with a chainsaw that has his mouth stitched shut.
Right, so it's just like ghosts, it's just unearth-like things happening to you, and you don't know why, and you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But I mean, it's gruesome.
So do you guys think, I remember the game that changed everything for, at least that I can remember for games when I was a kid, was Mortal Kombat, the first one. And I'm sure you guys have heard of Mortal Kombat. But people freaked out, like, kids can't play this, and this is going to be, parents can't let their kids next to this because it's going to make kids violent, and, kids shouldn't be seeing this kind of blood and gore and stuff. And, I mean, I played it. I remember I played it a lot, and I don't feel like it changed me at all. Like, I don't feel like it did anything. I didn't feel like the blood, I don't know, it just was a part of, like, my existence. Like, it didn't really matter. And I guess I was desensitized to it. Do you guys feel like, violent video games do anything to the psyche of teenagers? Like, is there something that people should be concerned about with violent video games?
In my opinion, no, because games usually, like the stories, are just kind of like an adventure, or like it's just like reading a book, I guess, but it's just not, I don't think it could change you, but games kind of, I mean, yeah, if they're gory and stuff, they're going to be gory, but I don't think they could change you. It's just an adventure or like a story that you go through and you're a part of it. But it's not like something that changes you, like, oh, I like this character, maybe I should be like that. I don't think that a lot of people would be like that.
Okay. Jade, what do you think?
I really think it depends on the child that's playing the game. Like, if it's a child who really can get into something way too much, or if he idolizes something too easily, it might become a problem. Like, they might idolize one of the characters in the game that isn't that is like kills people, or but if you have a child that can understand, like everybody here in this room, that it's just a game, that you shouldn't try anything that happens or idolize anyone, then I feel like it's okay.
Okay. So let's get to this list. Let's get to the console list. This ranking system's based purely on our overall sales. So I'm a little surprised actually to see this. It says here that the highest selling video game console ever is PlayStation 2. At over 155 million households or people bought PlayStation 2. Have either of you guys played the PlayStation 2?
No, the first one that my dad got was the PS3.
PS3?
Of the PlayStation world.
Jaden, what about, have you played PlayStation 2?
No, I'm not big on PlayStations. I think the last play anything by Sony is probably a PSP.
PSP. I think, I know PlayStation 2 was big, and I think really there was just a weird gap in there with Xbox and PlayStation 2 and PlayStation, where people just, I mean, there wasn't a lot going on in the gaming world, and PlayStation 2 just had so many games, specifically role-playing games that people really, really got into. I think that's why that one's so big. Same with PlayStation comes in at number 2 at 102.49 million sold consoles, which, I mean, you think about over 100 million people for both of those. That's incredible. And then we get to the Wii. And I'm interested in this one. Wii is number 3 at 101.44 million systems sold. I gotta say, the Wii is interesting because it competed with Xbox and PlayStation 3, and the graphics aren't even nearly great. I mean, they're
kind of
they're
cartoon,
kiddie.
yeah.
But it was because I think I have to say it's got to be the games, right? The games made that so popular.
Right, like Just Dance is huge. Like everybody plays that.
When I was 8, the number one thing I was begging for my mom for it was I wanted a Wii, but it couldn't be the white one because everybody's got dirty. I wanted the black one because you couldn't see anything on it. And I just thought it looked really sleek, and I got it, and I got Super Mario with it.
Okay.
Just like the Wii version of it. And the controls were hard to learn. It wasn't a great console. And it just sits in my room now.
It sits in your room. I think I know there was a huge craze where Wii Sports, and actually if you look at the list of highest sold games, or ranked games, Wii Sports is one of the most the highest selling games of all time. It's listed as...
The Wii U or Wii Sports?
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports. And the reason that was, as I remember, it was on the news and it was coming out.
It was one of the first, sport.
It was one of the first sport interactive games, so people thought, I'm getting a sporting experience, which was cool. It was different. But the biggest thing about it was elderly homes, they were using them because elderly people loved them. And then schools started using them because they're completely kid-friendly games. And so they didn't feel like there was any kind of threat there. And it was making them active, which most video games, I think you guys would agree, the biggest problem that you have with video game stereotypes is that kids aren't active.
Like
or the people
sit down,
they just sit there and they play a game. And so when the Wii Sport came out, or those Just Dance games as well, it was huge because parents felt like they were giving their kids an access to something that they still love, but they were still being active.
Right.
So I think that's why Wii in general was so big, because you had that hand motion and you were moving around
left and right and going everywhere.
Which, if you ever want to get a great kick out of things, go to YouTube and watch Wii fails, where people are recording themselves playing a Wii game and they throw their controller into their television.
Okay. Wait. I have a story for this. I actually have a Wii remote in my hand. They're sitting right behind me, but I was at my cousin's house, and he was the one who inspired me to get a Wii, because they were the ones who had all the consoles. They had a Wii, they had a PlayStation 3, they had an Xbox. They had everything that they would want, and we were playing. I think it actually was Wii Sports, and we were bowling, and he was trying to teach me how to play, and I threw the remote into the ceiling, and it just lodged itself in the ceiling, and we're in the basement, and so there's just you hear this thud, and the parents come rushing down. There's just a remote sticking out the ceiling.
If you ever play any of the Wii, it's 5 times before you actually start the game it wants you to put the strap on now, because everybody is going crazy about it. And I mean, even now that I think about it, at the Super Bowl, when Katy Perry was singing, she had a Wii safety strap when she was singing. I mean, it's really important now.
The Wii infiltrated the world.
Oh my god.
After the Wii on the list is the one I think we're all going to be most excited to talk about, and that's Xbox 360. It sold 84 million systems. I think the biggest thing that made, in my opinion, Xbox 360 so revolutionary and so amazing was Xbox Live. Xbox Live is the coolest thing in the world, and I still think, PlayStation, they tried doing the free thing, but the PlayStation online system is not even near Xbox Live. It's worth the price, right?
Right.
It's
Xbox Live.
Pricey,
it senses so that you don't have to have a controller. You don't have a controller to throw at the ceiling. You don't have a controller that you need to plug in sometimes to charge. I know PlayStation, they
Or is
they
it,
have disconnecting. We have 2 controllers so that one's charging, we play and then switch them out
Yep.
because they're always needing to charge. With the Live, the sensor is longer and it always needs to be it's always plugged in like most, and
Oh, you're
don't have
thinking
to hold
Kinect.
it.
You're thinking
You're thinking
Kinect.
about Kinect.
oh, I'm thinking of the Kinect.
Xbox Live is Xbox.
It's where you go online to play.
It's basically like if you were on a computer, it's like your internet access is Xbox
Right.
Live.
And I think what was so revolutionary about that was the fact that
You could play with your friends.
you could play with your friends, and you really didn't have anything like that before. And all of a sudden, you could download games straight to it. And I think,
Right.
and the other thing that was really cool is that you could save your game on your hard drive.
Right,
Which-
and then just instead of saving it on the CD, so you could take it to your friend's house, and then it wouldn't be like.
Yeah, and then and the other thing was it eliminated load time for games if you saved it on your hard drive. So there was so much that was really cool about Xbox, and I just feel like the games. What's outside of Gears of War? What's probably my favorite game on Xbox? There's so many different games.
I'm partial towards any of the Call of Duty series.
Call of Duty, and that's pretty common. I think Call of Duty's. I mean, Call of Duty's so big for a reason. I mean, everybody loves Call of Duty. I love the Assassin's Creed series, and we talked
Yes.
about it a little bit before with your brother. I love the Batman series.
The Batman series is big. The Assassin's Creed has been really big. Actually, me and my brother got an Xbox One, and it has the Live with it, and we it came with Assassin's Creed games. Like it's so big, it was just amazing. But yeah, we have the Batman, a couple of the Batman games. We have like 3 Assassin's Creed games. But with the Kinect, you just download it straight and you don't have to go anywhere, and I love it.
The Kinect, I think, is interesting because
or the
it took.
Live,
Well, it's good. We should talk about the Kinect because the Kinect was another part that changed everything because it took everything that the Wii had, but it made it more
Without
of a
a
real
remote.
experience because all of a sudden your legs mattered and both arms mattered and your face mattered, as opposed to with the Wii it was just whatever controller you were holding.
arm, right?
Yeah, and so
you could be sitting down and doing the hand motions, and you'd be getting score, and it wouldn't care
Exactly.
if you were standing or
What
doing
I'm
anything.
what I'm trying to remember is I remember seeing ads for this. I don't remember what it was. I think it was one of the PlayStations tried to come up with their own version of a Wii remote, and it was like a long.
It looks like a microphone.
It was like
Yeah.
it looked like a microphone with a glowing.
Yeah, we
ball at the
actually
top.
have one.
PlayStation 3, I think.
Yeah, it's a PS3. We have one, and I think it's not really recreation. They just kind of took the controller and changed that size, but now that they have that remote, they're able to convert games that are like Just Dance or like games that need that kind of remote where you have to be moving. It enables that, but I guess PlayStation tried.
They tried.
It looks like a microphone, and if you were gonna be like doing a messing around, it'd be singing or whatever. That's the kind of thing you'd grab.
So it looks like
I have one question for you, Heath. You've been asking all the questions. So I know that you are really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
oh, absolutely.
Is there a game for that?
Oh, there is. The best one of all time is Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo or Sega. I don't know if it was on Sega or not, but Turtles in Time, you can actually download it now on Xbox Live. Greatest game of all time. That might be my favorite just game. I played that one so much, and the idea of it is Shredder steals April, like always, right? It's the classic, heroes are trying to save the girl. And he has the ability to time travel, and so the turtles of course are like, we gotta get her, so they're traveling through time trying to catch him. And so there's like a level where you're with the dinosaurs, and then there's like one where you're in the future and you have like a hoverboard, and I'm gonna pull up a picture of this game just so you guys can see. It really was my favorite game by far.
It's awesome.
Of all time. So
Oh no, April, no.
if you guys ever have the opportunity to, let's even look at this. Let's look at a little playthrough. You guys you'll actually be able to hear it on the podcast, I think. But here you go. We're pulling up evening news. Here she is.
Oh god.
Wow, this
Okay,
is
here's
horrible.
Krang. Yeah, here's Krang. He's coming. Yeah, he's gonna steal the Statue of Liberty. Why not?
It's flying away.
Yeah, he's flying away, and Shredder's always laughing at you because he's a jerk. See, here they are. What's interesting is this one's actually a redo. This one's not even it's upgraded graphics. The one I have is the one on the side there, but the game was absolutely the same. They just upgraded the graphics here.
Big Apple, 3 a.m.
So yeah, you start in New York. Here you are. It's always fun. You're gonna go through. Let's fast forward a little bit. Here you are.
So I'm guessing it was like 2D one.
Yeah. So this one's
like
the 3D. Here,
Mortal-
let's pull up the 2D one. Let's actually show you guys.
I almost get a Mortal Kombat feeling of it, but with more than one hero.
So here it goes. Here's the original one. There's the Konami. They were the ones who made the game. So yeah, here you go. We're gonna walk through this together.
Look, it's all
so Journey, I'm gonna take you guys in the past.
Well, I've seen a couple.
This was in 1992, by the way, guys.
Nighttime, New York.
While this is like doing this, have you guys heard of what is it? It's for one of the Nintendo systems. It's like the Game Glove.
Oh, I never played with that, but I know what you're talking about. So here you go. Here was my entry. We walked through it, and Matt, you're gonna just love this. This is gonna be. Check this out. Check out those graphics. So for everybody who can't see, it's Super Nintendo, and then we're going through. Here we go. We're on the dinosaur level. I fast forwarded it. We're fighting ancient Ninja Turtle. I don't know how he got there.
He's just a Ninja Turtle.
He's just a Ninja Turtle from the dinosaur era.
His eyes all creepy as like spikes coming out.
Yeah, ridiculous, right? And now we're on like the Western time because it's
Western time, so it's like
Rockman, and we're on a train because of course you're gonna be on a train, through time. And then here we go, back in the future, like we're fighting the future. He's got a hovercraft.
fighting aliens.
And just the funnest game I ever played. I loved this game, and at the end you get to fight Super Shredder, so just tons of fun. But that was the game. So yeah, Turtles. That was my game. I wish I would have thought about bringing some of these games up so you guys could we could talk through some of the walk-ins because that was kind of cool doing that. But so we only have about 4 minutes left. I want to finish with kind of a very kind of, I don't know, opinion pace for you guys. The future of gaming. What is it? What do you think the next gaming systems and video games will be like?
I feel like we're gonna go even further. Like, so right now we're in the television, right? And right now for PC gaming, and I know this isn't a huge thing, like is some of the consoles, but right now there's the what is it called? It's
the virtual reality stuff?
Yeah.
What's the one that they're coming out with? Oculus.
The Oculus Rift. They've already put out the first like 2 versions of it. And that's what I was trying to think of is I feel like consoles are gonna maybe start integrating that, and maybe with like something like instead of having a remote that you have to look at, maybe you have like your hands.
Kind of with those gloves that they tried way back in the day, like you were saying. Yeah, Maddie, what do you think? Do you think more virtual reality, or do you think gaming systems in general are just gonna keep growing and just keep getting better graphics, better stories, things like that?
Well, I think they're gonna do that first, and then continue working on the virtual reality. But once like we're probably not gonna have controllers anymore, and not gonna have like big boxes or big containers that has the main system or something like that. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I mean,
it'll be interesting. I think controllers. I really don't know. I'm always interested with video games. They feel like they're always evolving. They're always changing, and I love having a controller in my hand. I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable without one. I might be that old guy who's like, back in my day we had a big controller with a joystick, and
it had to plug into a big box that had to plug into the wall, and
a joystick here, and the buttons.
That'll be me. I'll be playing my Turtles in Time and just enjoying myself. So to finish this up, let's do kind of what I've been doing on other podcasts. Let's have you guys shout out something, but let's keep it to the video games. Let's have you guys shout out your very favorite video game. Tell people to go play it and why. You got 30 seconds. Maddie, go ahead and start.
My favorite game is PlanetSide and PlanetSide 2 on the PC. It's not really computer, but that's my kind of gaming.
Okay.
And my favorite game that's on the Xbox Live that we have right now, or Xbox One, is the Assassin's Creed Unity.
All right. Jaden, favorite game? Give it a plug and tell us why.
Taking you back almost 4 years.
Oh, we're going way back.
Oh.
Way back.
Way back to
that's-
Call of Duty Black Ops.
Call of Duty Black Ops.
The original,
The
not the
original.
second, because I'm not a huge fan of the multiplayer. It's okay, but I really like the storyline for it. The idea that spoiler, that you've been brainwashed to try and kill the president.
That's kind of a cool storyline.
Wow.
It's very movie.
I haven't
It's
played it.
very movie like.
We have the
I think that's
second
what makes
one.
video games so great, right? Is it's like you're living
It's
on
the
a movie.
story,
or
and
book
it's
or-
like a movie, but you're playing the movie.
Yeah. All right, so Call of Duty Black Ops, and shout out to all the PC gamers. I know we didn't talk about you guys. Unfortunately they weren't on the list, but I know PC gaming, absolutely awesome. Maybe we can do like another one of these, and we can segment some of that on PC gaming, because I do love some PC games. I love Age of Empires series.
Minecraft's really big now.
Oh, Minecraft. And we didn't even talk about Minecraft, and that's even on PlayStation and
Yeah,
Xbox.
that's on Xbox too.
I can't-
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2. So yeah, we got lots more to talk about. So thank you for listening. We'll do this again. We'll keep doing it, bringing you guys more and more, and hopefully you guys enjoyed listening. See you guys next time.